We're not,
Way up in the air.
we're not
I
on.
feel like I'm sitting on the ground.
Now you are.
Now we are, now we are. Okay,
I'm not.
I would like to, yeah, you are. I would like to call this Monday, September the 11th, 2023, meeting of the Chandler Advisory Planning Commission to order with a roll call, please.
Crowley.
Here.
Cup.
Here.
Hicks.
Here.
Jenkins.
Yes.
Whitledge.
Here.
Williams.
Here.
Okay, having a quorum. I'd like for us all to stand, remove our head coverings, and say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right, do we want to move our, do we want to move Mr. Saheed? Do we want to move him up to now or later or what?
That's your call, Mr. Chairman.
Well, I hate to make him stay through all the dull and boring stuff, so. And, why don't you come on up? And, I guess, Michael, you know what's going on, and, I'll just kind of turn it over to you. And, is it Saheed? Saheed?
It's Inder. Inder, I-N-D-E-R.
And I-N-D-E-R, yeah, okay. I knew. Okay, we'll turn it over to you and Michael.
I attached a copy of the plot plan or site plan to your package for this evening. It would probably be your last page, as Ender has revised from the last meeting. So hopefully you've had opportunity to look those plans over, and if there's any question, that's why Mr. Hender's here this evening. But I don't know that there's, the property is zone C4, and all we as an area planning commission can actually do would be just to approve the site plan. So if there's any questions, now's the time, I guess.
So this is where the tanks will go, right here?
He's reduced his pumps from 4 to 2, correct?
That's right.
Yes.
Okay, so, but this is where the tanks would go? right
Yes,
here.
in the
Okay.
back. Mhm.
I personally like this plan a whole lot better than the previous one.
Yeah, I discussed with Inder later, and they said this is the best way to go, especially with the arrows, some of them going bi-directional, some of them
Yeah.
going one way, to leave the cars and the trucks.
Yeah, I'm looking over the first one you submitted. I've got it in comparison with this one. And, of course, you probably saw that you're pretty constricted on space in front of the building along Lincoln Avenue.
Yeah.
And I like this, the design here where you're coming in one way, come in, and then that's a vast improvement in my opinion. So I like it. Inside, we have no, still the floor plan's roughly the same
Yes.
for the inside?
Floor plan.
Okay, just your site plan is
Correct.
what's different, okay. Okay. Yep. I personally like it a whole lot better.
Where's employees parking going to be at?
That's not really decided. I don't think we're really going to be restricted for that. But
Eat it
if
up.
that's a requirement, we can definitely set something up for that.
It's parking, but I didn't say employees parking.
Well, it can be anybody.
Well, yeah.
Well, Ray, look behind you. All the way out the window.
Behind it.
Right behind you, out the window.
Out the window.
He means over here at Casey's.
That van, that's an employee.
You haven't got any room like that in here, I got to do that too much too. That's what I'm saying.
There's a space behind the
Yeah,
building,
that's what I was
right?
gonna say, down here,
Yeah, there's.
down there.
4 parking spots
No,
on the,
not there.
is behind the
Huh?
building, and
That's
there's
not their
about, I think,
Oh, it's not?
3 parking spots in the front.
Yep.
I think that's.
I see
enough
that.
space.
That's bigger than the Boonville store.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Is your store also the one that's on like Weinbach, Oak Hill area?
Yes,
It's a Sigco or Sig
it's Fast Track. Yeah.
Fast Track?
Yeah, that recently just opened up too.
Okay, I seen that one. That's smaller than down here.
Is it?
Well, the one in Boonville's smaller than there too.
Yeah, this is actually pretty big compared to some of them I drove by and looked at.
Yeah, I agree. It is.
Are you going to have a trash, container?
Absolutely.
So I guess that'll eat up one of these parking spots
Cross
here, I
paths
guess,
there,
huh?
right there.
So the trash containers, they come with Sunoco branding, they'll go right beside the pumps. It will go two trash bins there, and then, of course, we can put it, in front of the building, we can put a trash bin in front of the building.
No,
Well,
he's
I'm,
talking about the dumpster.
I'm talking about
Oh, the
dumpster type.
Dumpster.
Yes, I'm not sure where they had the previous dumpster, if they even had one for the, I believe it was the Mexican restaurant or any others. But we will reach out to Waste Management and ask them where they find it to be best to place, and then we can place it over there based on, how the truck wants to come in and out.
Well,
You ain't gonna-
that's about the only option.
If I'm not mistaken, they had a dumpster right here. I was chasing a dog one night, and there was a dumpster right here in this corner.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay, so, what can we do for you tonight? Anything other than just this?
Just approval.
Approve the site plan is, because it's already, the zoning's been, it's approved.
Right. I can't see any problem with the site plan. Like I said, I think on paper and the measurements, there's plenty of room.
So that'll be one-way traffic between the pumps and the building on the west side there, west side of the building. Here, it'll be one way.
That's what, yeah,
That's what, well, that's,
Well, it looks
the
like-
arrows is there, but I mean, you know,
what it looks like.
it's wide enough there. I just wondered there was so plenty of width there to,
30 feet, 7 inches.
yeah, but
That's plenty.
that's enough to go two ways.
That's between the canopy and the building.
Yeah, that's enough to go two ways though.
Oh, yeah, if you had to, you could.
Yeah. I'm just hoping right now that you can get everything going around the right direction there. I'm
That'll
sure they're gonna
never
be
happen,
pulling
no matter
in,
where
they're gonna be
it's at.
pulling in that, they're gonna be pulling in that east lane up there, right, go in there, in east entrance and where they're gonna go.
They're gonna go right on around.
Yeah, the
Against
wrong
the arrows.
direction, the wrong direction, yeah.
Arrows are just a suggestion anyhow.
Yeah.
How many times you seen people over here at Casey's parked against the lines that they have striped?
I don't know, I don't go to Casey's,
Oh, well, many, many times. Many
I
times.
don't go to Casey's.
How many pumps are you still gonna have? Two?
So
Okay.
Two double pumps, wouldn't it?
Leave
Actually-
on each side.
Be actually two double pumps, yeah. Mhm.
One on, you can
So
pull
it'd
up on either side of it.
You'd have four, you could have four pumping at the same time.
No, only two on each pump.
Well, two on each pump, yes,
Yeah.
but you could have four pumping at
Did you
the
say
same
you're gonna
time.
serve
That's right.
deli sandwiches or any type of food?
yes, we are
Okay.
fried chicken, pizza, and breakfast items.
Oh, okay, okay.
You guys are quiet down there.
Just taking it all in. I'm waiting for anybody else to talk. I'm good myself.
I think it looks okay to me. I'm like Ron. I like this plan better than the first plan.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's the next step, Michael, if we do approve this tonight?
Well, that would be up to Mr. Ender, because he would have to go to, I guess, IDM would be maybe one of your steps, health department, all those things have to be checked off.
Yes, so my next steps would be to, get appropriate financing. Once I get, moving from there, I will reach out to Mark Hinderleiter, who's in in charge of all of our projects, and from there, he will start getting all the approvals that are necessary from the state and the city, and then we will proceed from there in terms of ordering all the supplies and getting canopy plans sketched out, which once I have those, I'll submit those in just for the team to review. And from there, it's just ordering the tanks as well, which take, it's like, I think 6 to 8 months, so there's a time period.
So then if we approve this, what's the next step for us? Anything?
We have no steps to take.
That's what I thought.
We're done.
That would be dead. That's what I thought, because then it's up to the state, right?
Yes.
Except for Michael in his capacity is,
Right.
he,
Electric and some of the things that we
Yeah,
have.
some of the
Yeah,
inspections.
some of the building inspections we're involved with.
Michael, is there any, minimum parking for the store part?
I cannot find any in our ordinance. I don't see
I was
anything
thinking
in
there
our
was some
ordinance.
I was thinking there was some in there, but I don't know.
I don't, there may be something actually on a state level. I don't see anything in our ordinance that would hinder this plan.
And if I remember right, there was so many parking spaces. You had to have a parking space for so many square feet of building in the inside, or whatever. I mean, that was the way it read. If, at one time, I thought we had it in there, maybe it's not.
any other questions? Concerns? If we have no other questions or concerns, I would like to, my mind just went blank.
You want to ask for a
I would-
motion?
Entertain.
You want to ask for a
I want
motion?
to entertain motions to approve this revised plot plan that we have in our, and I've got mine dated September 11th, just for future reference.
Yeah.
I will accept motions to approve this.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion from Terry Cup, and I will accept a second.
Second?
Second from Donna. Have a roll call vote, please.
Crowley,
Yes.
Cup,
Yes.
Higgs,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Reluctantly, yes.
Whitledge,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Okay.
Anything else? We're good.
Good luck.
Oh,
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.
thank
very
you.
much.
You too.
Have a good day.
Yes.
Okay, that taken care of. Let's move back up to, and is that all we had on, that was old business, so we can scratch that off, unless we have any other old business.
That's it.
That's the only one? Okay, we, move back up to item number 4, to approve the minutes from August 14th, 2023 meeting. I glanced over them, I didn't see any. I didn't see anything either. I didn't see any errors or discrepancies.
Do I have a calendar?
Is there one on your?
Yeah, I've got my
Oh,
picture.
I need August, or.
Okay, no discussion on the approve, I would like to entertain motions to approve the minutes
I think, aren't we on?
from August 14th, 2023 meeting.
I make a motion, we accept the minutes.
Have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Crowley,
Yes.
Cup,
Yes.
Higgs,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Abstain.
Whitledge,
Yes.
Abstain.
Williams.
Yes.
Abstain for me.
Oh, you're abstaining?
Yes, I wasn't here.
Okay, discussion and approval of new
It's
permits.
not the 9th, it's the 10th. Oops.
Let's just do these separate. We've got them separate. Let's just do them separate.
We're off.
Special way to do them.
Approval,
Whenever I look at that.
discussion and approval of new permits. Like we've had, how many?
Do what?
Not very many.
Yeah. Yeah,
9 new
and we're
permits.
off on Veterans Day too.
The Habitat House is over on, over off of Venner Eden, or off of Venner Eden. Are they just applying for those one at a time whenever they start them? I know they've got 4 of them started now, and I was just wondering,
I believe they've applied for all 6 permits.
well, the 6 that are started?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, actually,
there's
it's
6.
7. There's 6 USDA and 1 Habitat.
Oh, okay, okay.
There's a difference. The one on
Yeah.
Heim is a Habitat.
The one on the
The
corner of
6
Pine and,
houses on Willow Cove would be USDA.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't
And
know
just
that.
FYI, Habitat has signed a purchase agreement with 317, with Jeff Baker, 317 East Monroe, and they're going to be building a house there sometime, not, I don't believe in the near future. And I think they're also making an offer on the property over here behind us on Williams Street. I believe they're preparing to make an offer on that property.
So 317 would be what? on
317
north
West
side of
Monroe. Yes,
Okay.
it was a fire job here a while back.
Yeah.
Jeff Baker's house,
Well, they got a lot there on the south side.
and
too.
it was on fire, and he demoed that, and Habitat's signed a purchase agreement.
Okay.
Okay, no other questions or concern. I'll entertain motions to accept the permit log for August 11th through September 8th,
Are you gonna
2023.
do them both or just
just the permit.
the permit one?
Yeah, I just asked for that separate.
I'll make that motion.
Second it.
Motion and second, roll call?
Crowley,
Yes.
Cup,
Yes,
Higgs,
Yes.
Jenkins, Whitledge,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Okay, then move on to item 6, discussion and approval of the inspection report. Man, those are all homes, aren't they?
Just as a matter of information, we have already permitted 2 more single-family dwellings this year than we did all of 2022. So our single-family residents are ahead of last year's build. And we still have, well, of course, the remainder of September, October, November, December to go. So
Yeah. That's good,
and I know there'll be some more permits coming in real soon.
that's good. That's good.
How many lots we got left out there in Mallard?
Mallard,
It could be,
not many.
I'm gonna say you're running out fast over
They
there.
are. And Heim's filling up.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any more lots for sale at Heim. They've all been bought, I believe.
Oh.
Not all built, but all bought.
Okay, I would like to entertain motions to accept the inspection report for August 11th through September 8th, 2023.
I make a motion to accept the inspections report for August 11th through September 8th, 2023.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second, roll call, please.
Crowley,
Yes.
Cup,
yes,
Higgs,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Whitledge, Williams. Williams.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we've already done old business. Now we're going to move down to number 8, new business.
Just wanted to bring to your attention the homes you see on the screen. Just take a look at that home And there's another home.
That's my neighbor.
Is that your neighbor?
Mm-hmm.
And there's another picture there of a carport. You're seeing these carports. And there's another picture. Do you know what all of these pictures have in common?
They all have metal carports on them.
They're all illegal.
All in front of the house.
We've done been through it with that
Yeah,
one.
we have.
Have you?
Yes,
Isn't that down on Green Valley too?
yes.
That's the
That's a
one
pretty
down the
big one.
street.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I think it's the first one.
Yes, it
There's
was.
Two or three of them down on Green Valley, if I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, but that one
Yeah,
there,
but we had a big discussion on that one.
And that home is illegal for two reasons. You see the carport, but do you know what the other reason would be? You can't really tell in that picture. It's not a good picture. But it's actually illegal for that RV to be 10 feet away from a house, the way our ordinance reads.
For that RV, what?
For the RV to be within
Oh.
10 feet of the house, it's illegal. And if you'll read, I passed out the papers here, 172.07.
Illegal too?
Pardon me?
This one's illegal?
Yes, it is. And I copied a page from our ordinance and distributed it tonight. It's not in your package that you received, but this is a copy from our ordinance, and 172.07E, if you will read, the accessory structure must meet the minimum front yard, side yard, on a street side of a corner lot, setback, and other requirements. In a rear or side yard, all residential accessory structures not attached to or part of the principal structure shall be located at least 10 feet away from the principal structure. And then if you go down to H, for clarification, the following list is considered accessory structures also, but is not limited to these. So it identifies a travel trailer, camper, utility, open or enclosed, in-ground swimming pool, above-ground swimming pool. All these things are not to be within 10 feet of a house, meaning that, again, if your travel trailer, that white trailer, I don't know what the distance is, that white trailer from the house, but that too could be a violation.
Is
So,
that on Jefferson?
yes.
That's what I thought.
And I put the word permanent there on the paper, right there beside those that I passed out under 171.08 or established in 171.08. You'll notice there, I put in a rear or side yard. My suggestion is this. In a rear or side yard, all permanent residential accessory structures shall not be attached to or part of the principal structure, meaning something that is a permanent structure, like as a garage or something with a foundation, something that's regulated with a building code. Those buildings should not be within 10 feet of a principal structure. But when it comes to these open-sided carports like this, I'm just struggling to tell people, no, you can't put a carport like you see on that screen. That's wrong. And, pardon me?
Yeah, I don't see nothing wrong with that.
I struggle with that, and I'm just asking you to consider reevaluating that ordinance, and maybe, I think all you'd have to do is add that word permanent.
Permanent.
In a rear or side yard, all permanent residential accessory structures shall not be, or not attached to or part of the principal structure shall be located at least 10 feet away. But a structure that is basically anchored by pins or bolts or whatnot to concrete is not what I would consider a permanent structure. I mean, that's probably a matter of opinion, but I just think that that person right there should have every right to put that carport where it is without having to go through a Board of Zoning Appeals and paying extra for it.
That looks pretty clean, I mean,
Yeah,
compared to some of them.
yeah. And we had Alex, I can't remember his last name, came in here a while back, and I turned him down for a permit based on that particular ordinance.
Is that the one with the pool and they wanted to move the deck and he had a pool behind the fence?
Yeah, and he ended up he did not put a metal canopy. He put a, what do you say, tarpish looking canopy in his front yard. And I'm like, if you drive by and look at it, that would have been much more, well, that would have,
Presentable.
yeah, much more presentable. Thank you, Kathy. So it's a tough call.
So all we need to do is add permanent to this ordinance?
Well, what do you think? I mean, that was my suggestion. I'm just throwing that out there. Because actually, as this ordinance reads, you couldn't even have a utility trailer parked in your driveway 10 feet from your house, less than 10 feet from your house. That's the way this ordinance reads.
Yeah, that's,
Where's that house at on Jefferson?
Got one
Right
parked
down for
3
me.
foot from my house every day.
I think actually a
I'm in
state,
violation.
the
So
guy that works for the state of Indiana lives there.
Right there?
Mhm.
He does.
I think, I don't know what
Oh,
he's, with
yeah.
environmental management.
Towards the store, close to the store.
I think it's,
Yeah, I know
what's
you,
his name's on the
yeah.
house,
yeah, I know who you're talking about.
he's got a swimming pool behind his house too, don't he?
Which person? This guy?
Yeah.
I've never seen it. I don't know. I've only seen the street side.
This also talks about going past the front of the principal structure too as well. So some of those other ones on there,
Correct.
so
Yeah.
how do you address that if you're? gonna
That's
change the verbiage?
illegal because it's past the front of the structure and it's too close to the house.
It's too close
And
to
the
the
other one
right
is
of way of
because
the
it's
road.
attached to the house.
So you're supposed to be 25 foot from the right.
Correct. There is a right of way. And so,
I've questioned them a long time ago, but kind of went in one ear and out the other, so.
Well, what do you do when people put them up and they've
What
been
do we
there
do?
for a while?
I
What
was gonna
do
say,
you
after
do?
we've approved evidently, because I can tell you right now, I put one up with a permit and it got signed off on. But it was okay.
Yeah, with
It
Fisher,
is
you did.
probably illegal by this,
Fisher wouldn't do
ordinance.
anything with it.
it's at my daughter's house. That was within the last 2 years. Probably 3 years, 3 years.
I'm looking for clarity just to get things straight so we don't have this.
First of all, I think you're gonna have to define permanent. I would think that, if you had a slab of concrete and you had one of these sitting on that slab of concrete and it was bolted down to that concrete, that is permanent.
Couldn't you pull
Because
it
it's called more or less on a foundation.
if it was bolted down, can't you just unbolt it?
Well, you can
I mean,
unbolt your
maybe if it
house
was
and move
sunk
it too.
in the
As far as that's
concrete.
concerned, if you really want to get it.
Well, yeah, you
Yes,
can.
could.
Yeah,
But-
I mean,
but
they do it all the
still-
time.
Right, but still, you
you-
can cut that off. You can do a lot of things to get rid of that.
Well, the first thing you're gonna do too, is a lot of these things, they get out here, the first thing they do, they bring the siding down about 2 foot below the,
Right.
where it current.
We
The
had
next thing you
discussion
know,
about that.
they've unsided it down the side and they blocked
And
in
they
the
made a
back.
garage out of it.
And then they make a
yes.
garage out of it.
Right.
Now what do you do?
That's what we had the
They're already
discussion
here.
about before on this.
They're already here. That's,
That one on Green Valley Drive, the one he showed earlier, the one that's like 3
Red.
cars, that ended
That
up
one.
being a mess. Everybody probably remembers in there because Tanya, she said Fit at Grover got into him hot
right.
and heavy. Because if I remember right, I used to live down on North Illinois then. It was there, it wasn't nothing there one day, and I think they moved it in on a weekend.
oh yeah, they move them in on the
But it
weekend.
was
They just
okay.
put it up,
It
and
was
he
okay,
said,
though.
"What?" And he said, "What am I supposed to do about it?" And she said, well, "They
Is
argued,
that
argued."
picture up there?
Mm-hmm.
The picture
Yeah.
that's up there now?
Yeah.
The one we had
Yeah.
a big discussion about.
Yeah. Yeah, and they
Yeah,
just,
they put it up, and we didn't know they were doing it. It was,
yeah,
But then it was still okayed.
it was
according
still
to Grover.
okay though, because they
Uh-huh.
didn't
Well,
really want to push
It
it.
was okayed.
They don't even wanna make them tear it down.
So like I said, we got some down there where we're gonna have
Well,
to
it's
start.
basically attached to the house.
Mm-hmm, pretty well.
I don't
Well,
know.
it's right against it.
I don't know if it's attached
I
to the
don't think
house or
it's
not.
attached
Oh,
to the
yeah.
house. I think there's a space between it and the house, but
Not much.
Well,
it don't make any
if
difference.
someone wanted to be facetious, all they have to do is take a 2x4, cut it, and bolt one end on the house and one end on the
Yeah.
carport,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's what we gotta do, yeah.
and call it attached.
I know somebody took a piece of string and did that.
Mhm.
I guess, again, I'm just having struggles sometimes with this particular accessory building ordinance.
Can we, I mean, I know a lot of people don't look the way I do this, but what does Evansville do? What does Newburgh do? What does Boonville do? Or some other town? Let's find out how they're regulating it, and see what they come up with. They might have some suggestions, that's, they may not even allow them at all. They might just say, no,
I don't know, but what they wouldn't be more lenient than what we are.
That's what I was gonna say,
Yeah.
Evansville, I think. would be-
Tennyson, I
Hey,
guess. and
just
Lindsay.
since you've opened that door, let me just throw something else out to you. I'm not asking you to take any action tonight. I'm just asking you to take it home. This is your homework assignment, if you please. And that would be that Evansville has recently passed an ordinance that if you have a lot that is a certain size and meets the requirements, you can build an additional structure on that lot somewhere between 400 and 800 feet, 400 and 800 square feet. And it can be a dwelling for a child or a mother-in-law or a elderly person. And it's kind of, I guess you might call, for lack of a better term, the tiny house kind of idea.
Yeah.
That Evansville will regulate that new structure as you would a new structure, but they have the ability. For example, I had somebody call me about 317 West Monroe. They wanted to put a tiny house there, and I was like, well, we don't have provisions for that right now. So I'm just thinking, with our economy, with the changes that we're experiencing in our culture, if we might consider somehow, and I don't even know where exactly I stand on this and what rules would regulate it, but I'd like for you to think about this, because in some cases it might be very practical to allow somebody, if their lot is large enough, set the guidelines right, and there's enough adequate parking that they could actually put, like, for example, I'll just say my house is probably a good example. We've got a good sized lot. So if my mother-in-law, who just fell Saturday night and had several stitches, and we have to figure out what to do with her. She's a very independent person. So if we built a 600 square foot tiny house on the back and took care of her, understanding it would have to have a separate sewer, separate water and all that, or however that might be regulated. But just throwing that door open for you to think about. If it's
Sandy
something.
Elder, same thing. She's got
Sandy
that
Elder, same thing.
both-side
Yeah.
lot, yeah, and her mom is.
Yeah, she's
of
got a huge
age
lot.
and-
Yeah.
Yeah, and she would love to put something up there for her mom.
Yeah. And so is this something that we would entertain, that idea, and think about that?
I certainly would,
I certainly would.
because I think
I
there's a
definitely
big
think
Mr.
about
need
it.
Higgs
for
has
it.
his hand up.
I think there's a
If
need
the,
for it
if the lot is
nowadays.
big enough,
Yeah.
yeah.
So isn't there
Better than putting them in a
something
nursing
to be
home.
said? Because
Yeah.
when I was looking at building a bigger barn, remember that goes off the size of your current house, right?
Yes.
All right.
So does this change possibly could roll into people now saying, well, okay, I want, you're okay with putting a tiny house or an additional structure. What if people want
But
to go
not a bigger
bigger? And then
yard.
what if they go bigger, say, I wanted to build a 2,000 square foot pole barn instead of a 1,200?
Yeah.
You know what I
Could put a
mean?
mother-in-law suite in it, because Pope Barn houses are.
But what I'm saying is currently you have limitations to how big you can build. Could there also be a little stipulation in there, something about, hey, in these situations, could somebody potentially build bigger than the house?
Yeah.
For that.
I think wouldn't that be where dwelling would come in? Your yard barn wouldn't really be a dwelling, but a tiny house would, and you'd have to have its own electric, its own water sewer. So,
Just thinking about loopholes.
yeah.
Right.
There's-
Well,
I'm thinking about when I'm old, need a little tiny house is what I'm
Even,
thinking.
the best, we can regulate the best that we can, put all the rules in place, but there's probably gonna be also the times that they'll just have to go before the Board of Zoning Appeals, because it's a special thing. But I think that we could have provisions for a tiny house or small dwelling on a lot, again, if it was the right size.
I think that's something to really think a lot about in the coming years, because like you said, society's changing, things are changing.
In the last 3 years, property values have increased basically about a third.
Yeah.
189 grand would put you in a house at Heim Ridge before COVID. Now it takes you about 289.
You're probably gonna start seeing people go back to the older ways of multi-family in a house, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Could very well.
So we want to protect our community. We want to keep a nice, clean Chandler the best that we can. But on the other hand, we want to also make it we want to help people as much as we can.
Make it conducive for people that need an extra hand up.
Yeah.
If they've got the means to do it, we don't want to just say, no, you can't do this.
Yeah.
Don't we have a situation over off of, what's the street behind me, Monroe? Monroe. There's two houses there, there was two houses, and they rented the house out in front and built a house behind it on the same lot.
Yeah, but the lot was big enough that they changed,
And we kinda talking about the same thing, there's two full-size houses on one lot.
no, they're not on one lot. It's a split lot. It was split front to back and driveway, but I was on the board too when that went in.
So was
Okay,
I.
well,
Back to
so they split it up and they just give a driveway easement to
Yeah.
get to the back of it?
That's right.
So what,
But there's enough room on the front house for a standard lot, and there's enough room on the back for a standard lot. And even though they took the driveway off of the front lot there to go back there, that's,
I just, it was kind of the same thing we're talking about, building another small house behind what you got and, or on a smaller lot, but we talked about, like, I got a pretty good sized lot behind my house too, I could build a house on. At 3/4 of an acre.
there's a lot of them up there off of Jefferson Street, that's nice sized lots behind them on there.
That's where you're at, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Keep that on the radar, Michael. We need to keep thinking about that.
Yeah, we can.
It's been on my radar, and I just wanted to share it with y'all, and because it just recently, within the last few months, passed that in Vanderburgh County, and just so it's something to consider.
Okay, but
I'd like, go ahead.
Vanderburgh County's board though is Vanderburgh County and Evansville.
There are two boards.
Huh?
There are two boards. They
There
have
are two
commissioners and they have
Okay.
county commissioners.
But it wasn't Evansville that was passing these.
Downtown Evansville can do it.
Many laws, many.
Yes, downtown Evansville can do it.
I'd like to backpedal to, looking at the definition of permanent structure. I'd like to backpedal on that, and I'm thinking we need to get clarification on what the building code, building commission actually
considers.
considers permanent. You know, I mean, all of us could say, well, we've got a concrete slab, we put some Dynabolts, bolt that to a concrete slab. I don't consider that as permanent.
If you look down to F, right below it, just consider F. It says detached garages and other permanent accessory structures. That just kind of leads me to believe that a detached garage would be a good example of a permanent structure. Detached garages and other permanent accessory structures. So meet the requirements of building codes. that tells us there that when you build something on a permanent basis, that they have to meet the requirements for the building codes. For example, the size of the footer, the size of the framing, and all that comes under building code.
So a 4-inch thick concrete slab on somebody's driveway with that, one of those metal carports bolted down to it
Is not,
considered permanent.
not in my opinion,
in-
because
in the building.
it doesn't have a footer. It doesn't have a base. It's not really flat work on the concrete like that can be done without
There's
even a
no-
permit.
Yeah, there's no structure to that.
Right.
No, but you ain't gonna blow away a 4-inch thick concrete slab, you know, or if it's staked down, these things are gonna look like Mary Poppins alley out there if they ever get a big wind.
But that's what I'm saying. Don't rely on what we think.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. Rely on what's written on the existing Indiana building code.
If you do put the word
That's what I'm
permanent in there, you still have the other regulations or requirements as far as setback from the
Right.
property lines. And
Well,
all that stuff is still there.
Right.
yeah,
That's still there.
That's still there.
permanent, yeah.
Yeah. And that particular structure there, if I had anything to say about it, I would not maybe like the fact that it is not meeting the setback requirements.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
As far as the
Exactly.
idea of that carport and that house, I can't argue with that. You know, the only thing I can say about that is, well, what about the setback? And when you go to this structure right here, again, there's just absolutely no argument for me on that particular scenario. I just can't see why we can't allow that.
I don't have any problem with that one at all.
I don't either.
Is that on Adams Street?
Jefferson,
Jefferson Street.
Yeah.
Well, what about the one on Adams Street up here?
Adams Street. Did I have one on Adams Street here?
I don't know.
That's the one the camper's under.
The one that Gary, what's his name, works for the gas company
Oh, yeah,
on the,
works for B&G.
yeah, on the east side of his house.
Oh, Gary.
He poured a slab to start with, you know, and I figured, well, you know, he's gonna, I don't know, well, he's parking a trailer, and, you know, got a nice big trailer he parks in there. But at the same time, the next thing you know, he poured a slab, okay? The next thing you know, out here, he's got this,
Big yard barn.
huh?
Got a big yard barn behind it too.
Yeah. So, you know, I just, I don't know.
Yeah, he came and talked to me about that, but
can't-
supposedly he went to Mike about it, got
And I've had one of the common issues with this particular ordinance is if someone has a wrong elevation on their property, and if they go back too far from their house, it drops off. And I know there's a house on Washington that had that scenario. If you push it back, the farther you push it away from the house, there's a drop off back there, and he can't really utilize it because of that. So there's issues. And we've got people that they've got some of these carports that's like 6 feet away from the house. And
There's a Habitat house up there on Washington Street. What is that? I can't think of what street that is that comes off. It's up there in the busing subdivision.
Carlisle or one of those.
There was
Cambridge is a street that jets off
Yeah,
that,
two of 'em.
Washington.
two of them was built up there, you know, and it really dropped off. That's the reason busing didn't even build there, because it dropped off so bad. And the back side of that one house, it looks like the basement. It looks like the basement, you know. It's got enough blocks up there, that, you know, it's more or less like a basement.
Well, how about this? We presented these two ideas for you to think about, and let's maybe consider this at the next meeting. I'll maybe do some more research on this. But I wanted to share with you a couple challenges there.
I don't think we ought to rush it myself.
No, sir. I'm in favor of
No need to
thinking
rush
it through.
But we gotta be, we've gotta look at our residents, we've gotta we can't just be uniform saying, no, 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 no. We don't want you to do that. Number one, we need a good reason why not to. And I believe our ordinance has, for the 10-foot setback for sure, is a good reasoning. Then we need to define the permit, because, you know, we got people that's wanting to put an awning and keep it nice, you know, and maybe they don't have 10 feet, maybe they can go 5 feet. Is that okay?
Yeah.
If it's not permanent?
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Well-
it's some things we need to look at and think about.
And
That's for
I
sure.
guess before we leave, just trying to present a broad picture to think about. We have been growing as a community, and right now on the table, we have the project on Gardner Road that is, if you haven't been by there, it's in full swing. What? Yeah, it's in full swing. And there's a person that bought the property behind it, the 28 acres, that called, and he has talked about putting houses in and doing voluntary annexation. And that's 28 acres, which would be even a much greater project than what you see on Gardner. And of course, Josh, Rob, and I have talked much about 4 areas of annexing around town. Looking forward to even some more development. Habitat has been talking to me several times about buying the racetrack. Yes, it has to be built up. There will be but over a period of years, they're not talking about building next year, but over a period of years, building that up and putting a community out there, which I'm just sharing with you what I know. And so that area is on the table. My dream would be for Old Plank Road over here. There's a pie-shaped area kind of coming in that would be west of Old Plank Road, several acres there that's owned by Towhee Corporation that I would love to see a nice development come in there, something very nice. And I know some of you have not maybe, you haven't really approved of Imogene Cove, but they want an award for the state of Indiana. And there's actually a lieutenant governor's luncheon, and they're going to recognize Chandler, Indiana, and Indianapolis on the 26th as being an outstanding development.
Going, Kathy?
Kathy's
I hope I'm not invited.
Kathy's going with me to the luncheon.
No.
She's not driving.
Nope.
So-
I think that's wonderful,
That
in my
pie,
opinion.
yeah, that
I think that's
pie-shaped deal down there that you're talking about, if I remember right, it's not been too long ago, you might catch me up on this. Rob, they came in and they had a lot down there, I guess would be on the south edge of that pie shape, that was in there with, what is that, Old Plank Estates or whatever it is?
Oak Plank,
Yeah,
there's an Oak Plank subdivision there.
subdivision
Fire
out there.
truck with red lights on.
And, but anyway,
My pages.
anyway, they had this lot. Well, the only way they could do it is put in Rob said, well, the only way they're gonna get sewer is they're gonna have to put in a lift station somewhere. I forget exactly where it was at right there. So they okayed them to put in a septic system, if I remember right. Do you remember that situation? Well,
No.
well, anyway, it's real low down in there, and so, you know, somewhere in there, I don't know where they was gonna, they got that ditch runs down through there, I don't know where they was gonna drain their septic system into, but I guess could be, I don't know, but anyway, that was, Rob said, well, you know, we can put it in there, you know, but it's gonna cost, you know, X number of $1,000, you know, just for one lot, you know, more or less, you know. And, so the board,
Plank Road?
Yes,
yeah,
Oak Plank Road.
well, the old plank, yeah,
Oh, I think I know which house you're talking about now.
yeah. So anyway, you know, they okayed a septic system for them, you know. And, you know, I'm sure they're within 300 feet of a sewer, but the sewer's probably higher than they are, you know, so, whatever.
Well,
But I don't know why they couldn't have done, like they did up there north of Boonville up there, and that subdivision up there, where they put, pumps on every house, you know, and pumped it up there, and, you know, that's the way they done them. Every house up there's got a
We've
pump
got
on it.
some of those pump stations on our system, and they're not really, reliable for the property owners usually.
Well, I'll agree to that, but you know, if the property owner wants to build, he just has to put up with it, you know.
I just wanted to share those things with you because as an area planning commission, these are things to think about. You help set policy and guidelines and just trying to help you to think bigger. And Chandler's been doing great. We just want to keep the momentum going.
Okay, there's no other orders of business. So unless anybody has anything else, I will entertain a motion to recess.
I'll make a motion, we recess until our next regular meeting. Well, no, till the next meeting, so we might want to put a special in there somewhere.
That'll be Monday, October 9th,
Nope,
2023.
no,
Correction.
no.
I was wrong. That's a holiday. 10th.
October 9th is a holiday?
Yeah, Columbus Day.
Well, I thought they did away with that.
No.
That's what I asked Kathy. I thought they had.
No.
I thought they did.
No,
Some
they
have,
done away
some
with
have.
the election days.
No, but I thought
On
nationally.
a national level,
I
yeah.
thought
Oh,
on a
no.
national level,
Yeah.
they were talking about doing away with Columbus Day.
I,
They didn't.
So we'll meet on a
Yeah.
Tuesday?
Be Tuesday,
Yeah, Tuesday.
October
Tuesday,
10th.
October 10th.
Ooh,
I have a motion. Well, can I have a second for the
Second.
recess? Motion and a second. All those in favor?
aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Ayes have it. We are recessed.
That means I'm gonna have a meeting at 4:30 and one at 6:30 that day.
Just up there,
Oh, yeah, you got one that Tuesday?
down there
Yeah.
by the town hall. Caddy.
Where's
Thank
that?
you.
Oh, the Lions Club.
All right, guys, I gotta run, so.
I wish
I'm gonna flip
you
the
talked
switch
them.
on
Well, my
that
neighbor
door.
put up
Aye.
one
I
of
wish
the
you
freaking
talked them into changing that to Wednesday.
PVC freaking cardboard